know you mentioned Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, and this is just a question I thought off of the top of my head. Do you think that they got guys like that to try to help Jaden Ivey? Because when Jaden Ivey can, hit his shots, it's great. But when he's not hitting 3-point shots, it's really glaring out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the expected role for Jaden Ivey is for this season. I don't expect him to play summer league or anything, obviously. But with the way the roster is currently set up, I kind of wonder if he's the day one sixth man backup point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we have seen he is more effective with the ball in his hands. Infamously, it took Monty Williams 5 months to figure that out. But at the same time, if he has the ball, and he's not always the most efficient player. He struggles to finish at the rim, and his shooting varies very heavily. Right, he'll have remember that week, that Sacramento Portland back to back where he made 13 straight threes or something.
It was
that
wild.
that elevated his yearly percentages for 6 weeks. So yeah, I do wonder what the role for Jaden Ivey is going to be moving forward, and I would hope that we get some clarity about that when they actually have the Bickerstaff presser, which I assume is coming. But yeah, the way the roster's set up, it looks like they want to do Cade, heavy shooter, and then wing players, and Jaden Ivey is not a heavy shooter and he's not a wing player. So that leads me to believe he might be the backup, but we haven't had that clearly stated or said. So we'll see. And they also don't have a backup point guard right now either. So
yeah, it's so weird because before the Beasley signing, I was okay, maybe they run a Cade Ivey backcourt,
mm-hmm.
and I was just well, maybe they run Cade Tim Hardaway Jr., Cade Michael Beasley,
yeah,
and maybe to your point, they're not signing a backup point guard because I see a lot of people in the chat and even the group chats that we have, everyone's on the Tyus Jones train right now. Go get Tyus Jones, go get him as a backup.
Tyus Jones, for the record, has openly stated he wants to be a starter, and so I don't think he's coming to Detroit. I think he's going to look for a situation in which he can play a heavy minutes and be a starter. So I don't know where that's going to be because I like him, but I don't think he's a pretty baseline level starting NBA point guard. So I don't know who needs that per se, but yeah, I would be very surprised if he were to come to Detroit.
Yeah, same here. Even though there is that Duke connection there, so you never know. But to your point, I think you could see Ivy as that 6-man or backup point guard role because I think he thrives better when he has the ball in his hands, and running a second unit I think would suit him better than trying to share the ball with Cade. And not to say that they can't play together. I think they can. It just kind of seems like him playing off ball seems unnatural to him. That's just the way I see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at the explosion Cody White made in his career, right? And a lot of that was him getting comfortable in a bench role 2 seasons ago, only to finally build on that confidence moving forward, start a bunch of games for the Bulls and have a career year last year. It's maybe that's the path for Jaden. Come off the bench for a year, figure out how to play, be productive, but also use that time to figure out how to play off the ball a little bit, and then start off stronger in 2 seasons. It's also possible that we're wrong. They sign some backup point guard somewhere, start Cade and Ivey together, and prioritize figuring that out as a point of development. Yeah, and the other thing is Bickerstaff did a very hard stagger of Garland and Mitchell in Cleveland, and I don't know if that was a coaching policy thing. I don't know if that was something that he wanted to do because it was what was best. I don't know if that's something he's married to, the 2 bigs that he used in Cleveland, or if it's just this is what the talent we have, this is what we're going to do. And so I'd be curious to see if they are started, are Cade and Ivey starting together but heavily staggered, or is Jaden coming off the bench, right?
Was he doing that while Rubio was still there too, or was that after he kind of retired?
That was they like hoped he could start this season, and he retired. So remember, like
right.
they had like Craig Porter Jr. for a hot second was playing big minutes for them. But yeah, and then like Garland injured his face and everything, and so they've had a bunch of injuries and stuff in Cleveland. But I do think there was also something where they were planning on doing 2 seasons ago as well. So.
I mean, you could stagger them. That could work. That's just kind of like I've been thinking about it. It's like, okay, you got 2 shooting guards, and then you drafted Ivy a couple of seasons ago. Like, you're just going to transition him into a point guard. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I mean, free agent. I think today's the last day of free agency, isn't it?
Today's you can make stuff official.
Okay.
Starting yesterday at yesterday night, I think. So. I think that's what helped spur like the DeRozan trade. I've seen the Mikal Bridges trade is official now. So yeah, and obviously you can sign guys like all the way up until the season starts. So we'll see.